Now, if you frequent this channel, you probably are not surprised whatsoever by the title of this video. But if you don't, you might not know about some stuff going on with the ATF. And we'll talk about the NRA in a second. Right now with the ATF, we have several things going on. We have David Chipman being potentially put in charge of the ATF. For those of you that don't know who David Chipman, he is this Gary Busey looking dude. Now, other than him being a weird guy to look at, as a fellow weird guy to look at, I feel like I can make that criticism. We have to talk about how he was formerly a high-ranking member and currently is an advocate for gun control. He went as far as to say that he wants to see AR-15s banned. He has claimed that at the Waco siege, that the people at the church, at the compound, used 50 caliber machine guns to shoot down attack helicopters. We all know that ain't true. But he is an avid gun grabber and potentially going to be in charge of the organization that we have for some reason, given the responsibility of controlling what you do with guns. In addition to that, we have the pistol brace ban that is going to be coming forward that would potentially ban every single AR-15, every single firearm equipped with a brace, and classify them as an SBR. It is almost impossible to comply with their laws, and even if you do, the ATF can still say that even though you met their criteria for a properly brace-equipped firearm, they are still saying that you are in possession of an SBR. Also, within that same realm, we have the attack on homemade firearms and the changing definition of what a receiver is. I'm going to have my links to videos talking about those topics down below, because as of right now, you can still take action. In fact, you need to take action. But now let's talk about why I am upset with the NRA. Before we do though, this video is not sponsored, but I do want to give a shout out to a couple of companies that do support me. My merch company, Shall Not Comply, we got a link down in the description. We also have Premier Body Armor. They make backpack panels and this laptop case that will actually stop handgun bullets. You know, body armor is cool, but it's not always super practical to carry around something like a full plate carrier with several mags. But if you have a backpack, you could probably throw one of these laptop carriers or one of their simple bag inserts into a backpack you already own. So if you want to check that out down below, I got a discount code for Premier Body Armor, got links if you use those links and the discount codes. That will help support me in this channel because we are demonetized. So let's now talk about the NRA. The NRA markets themselves as and claims to be the 800-pound gorilla in the room when it comes to opposing legislation. They tend to claim that they stand for and are the voice of all gun owners. That's not really the truth, and I think that the NRA has a lot of problems with it. Some of those problems I think can be fixed. I think that we need to have them be more active and actually do more than just spend a lot of money on Wayne LaPierre's suits. But let's talk about what's going on with the ATF and how they've been mostly silent about what's going on. Now, I'm taking a look here at their Instagram account and the National Rifle Association. This is where you would expect them to be making posts and commenting on and encouraging their 5 million viewers or their 5 million members to take action against this. But here's what we see. We see a screenshot of a tweet from a guy that started Students for Trump. We see some people talking about news articles. We see a few points where they talk about David Chipman, and that's important. That's one out of the 3 topics that they have mentioned. You then go on and you talk about how, oh, they got an ugly photo of Kamala Harris and Biden saying the NRA has got to go, and some various other things. But if you look, the only time on Instagram that they have mentioned at all the AR pistols or the homemade firearms is in one post where they took a screenshot of a Breitbart title. Nothing from their own post, not doing their own work, not encouraging people to take action and make comments and oppose this, because as of right now, you personally can spend 5 minutes writing a quick letter saying why you oppose those legislations that would take away your ability to make a firearm in your own home, would potentially make all of your pistol brace equipped firearms illegal, and would potentially make every firearm manufactured in the future a lot more difficult to come by, because the ATF is going to require that they approve them prior to say what part is the frame or receiver, potentially regulating certain parts that weren't regulated as firearms in the future. It's crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if you want more information, I'll have links to my videos below. But they've been mostly silent. Now, if we go over to their Twitter account, one tweet specifically says, "Why do the president and the vice president of the United States say states hate the NRA? Because they know our 5 million members are the best and most potent political force in America." Now, do I believe that there are 5 million active members of the NRA? I'm not sure. I don't know the exact numbers. That seems pretty dang high, but 5 million seems like quite a lot. But I do agree that the amount of members that they have and the reach and impact that they do have and could have would be huge, especially when you look at how, as of right now, the number of people that have left comments on the ATF proposed ban on pistol brace equipped firearms and homemade firearms, we're looking at about maybe 50,000 at most collectively. It's pretty pathetic. I think a lot more people need to take just a little bit more time and be more active in opposing this essentially legislation. Even though the ATF doesn't have the authority to write legislation, the way they're changing the laws are effectively creating new laws. So the NRA has been mostly silent. If we look at their Twitter account, they've posted a few things, but by that I mean they occasionally have retweeted one thing where Breitbart talked about the proposed placing certain AR pistols under the National Firearms Act. But if we look at that article, it doesn't actually encourage anyone to go out and make the comments to try to stop the AR pistol ban. What's the point? They're just doing it for clicks. If they're not encouraging you to take action, they're just doing it for the ad revenue. Because we need to get you off Breitbart's site after seeing that article and get you over to the ATF, where you can then actually try to do something and affect change. If the NRA used maybe 2 hours of one of their low-paid social media employees' time to actually draft up a simple way to say, hey, here's a template, change it, write it, use this kind of as a guidelines of how to actually write an effective comment. If they could tap into that claimed 5 million, let's say we get 10% of that. Let's say we get 10% of that. That would be absolutely insane what we could do with that kind of power. They also retweeted a letter that was actually written to the Attorney General and the acting director of the ATF, telling them that they want to oppose it, and this was signed by many members of Congress, which is great. I know that the NRA has been effective on the back end to help influence some senators, congresspeople, and actually getting some action moving in the back end. And that's great. I think that's very important, but it's not all of it. We know that we also need to attack this on multiple different facets. We need them to be very much supporting the people to actually make their voice heard, because collecting $25, sending out letters in the mail saying gun confiscation right now, when really all they're trying to do is fund more trips for Wayne LaPierre, that ain't doing it. That ain't what we need right now. What we need right now is them to encourage their claimed 5 million active people to actually get out and do something. I am a life member of the NRA. I am very critical of the NRA because I want them to be what they claim to be. I love the fact that Gun Owners of America and Firearms Policy Coalition are doing great things nationwide. I also like the CRPA and other various statewide organizations. But the NRA needs to do more. They are supposed to be the biggest, baddest in the room, but they're doing nothing. They're boomer posting about how Biden's going to take your guns. And I get it, we talk about that, and that's a very real threat when it comes to bans and various things. But they're not actually talking about how we can actually stop this now. We can stop the pistol brace ban. We can stop the 80% ban. But it seems like the NRA isn't interested in those things. So let me know what you think down below. Have you taken the time to comment? Have you shared this video with a friend? Have you shared the fact that the ATF is up to some bullshittery with a friend? Because if you did, you're doing more than the NRA, in my opinion, when it comes to influencing the average person. I want the NRA to step up. We need the NRA to step up. If they are going to claim to be the biggest, baddest in the room, they got to start being the biggest and baddest in the room. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.